And now it's heating up a little bit, so we'll see what's up. Like I've been telling everybody, it looks like there's a new plan, because the most interesting thing from the way I look at it right now is that they don't have anybody out body routing. And for those of you not familiar with this whole process, the body routers are the people that go out on the street and try to get people in. They hand out the brochures and they say, come in for the personality test. And of course, once you go in for the personality test, then what happens is they tell you how messed up your personality is, and they find your weak spot. And your weak spot is called your ruin. And then they start hammering you, as we used to call in sales when I was in sales. They hammer you. And that means they give you a really hard sale. And what they do, like a lot of sales things. What's that?
Somebody thought you were Scientologist because you were in the corner. I was like, not
No, man, I'm not. I get asked that a bunch, you know, probably because of my age. They're profiling me.
They did last night. They tried to intimidate us with their phones, with their iPhone 4.
Oh. Sorry.
Careful.
At least you had no baby.
At least you have no baby. Sorry.
Yeah, a bunch of people come up like, are you a Scientologist? It's like, no. So anyway, they find your ruin, and like I was saying, like a lot of sales situations, what they do, they...
I'm awake, guys. Hello.
That's good news. You know, so in the beginning it's all friendly and they ask you questions and, you know, they appear to want to help you. And then if you resist, like you don't want to buy the book and you don't want to sign up for a course, then they start referring back like, oh, did you lie about all this stuff you said? Did you lie when you said that you would want to fix that stuff? You know, so they're basically, they get the dirt on you and then they use it against you. And since it is a religion based on lie detector interrogations, see behind her head there's the lie detector, the E-meter as they call it, which is basically, like I've said in other videos, it's like a third of an actual lie detector test. It's not a real lie detector test, it's just part of it. And so what they do is they just basically try to get you hands. And the thing is, it's not that nothing works. It's not that it's all sorry about that. It's not that it's all bullshit, right? Because with these kind of things, if nothing ever worked, then the cult wouldn't really do very well, you know. You gotta give people what they call in Scientology wins. You gotta give them some wins. And the thing is, from what I hear, and I've never been a Scientologist, not indicating that at the end of every session, you kind of have to say what your wins were, right? So That way they can say, well, you told us you had these wins, you told us you had those wins, so what's the problem? And they take meticulous records of everything that you ever do. So they make you say what improved, what your wins were at the end of every session. They keep records of all of that. And then if you ever change your mind, you want to leave, you express doubts or any of that, then they say, well, what about this win? What about that win? But the thing is, you were pretty much coerced into giving them these wins because they basically aren't going to let you go unless you do. And so when you give them that information, when you tell them, that worked today, right? Everything, it's like with the cops, right? Most experts say, just don't even talk to the cops, right? Just remain silent. The best thing you can do is to remain silent, because like they say, everything you say can and will, not maybe, not possibly, everything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law. Well, in Scientology, the court of law is whatever the next person up the line says. So when you tell them anything, they're going to take that stuff that you tell them and they're going to use it against you. They're going to use it to extract more cash. They're going to use it for, emotional or other types of blackmail. Or they're just going to use it in a way like, well, you said that. You kind of like, you promised, now you're lying. And, then they can say you are out ethics, right? You're not being ethical. You got to be ethical. And then there's always punishments for messing up. And one punishment that used to exist was called, and that was just for the Sea Org, I believe, was called the RPF, the Rehabilitation Project Force. I believe that's what it stands for, the RPF. And they would have people like cleaning toilets with a toothbrush and all that kind of crap. Very abusive stuff. Starvation, diet, bad things, very bad things. So anyway, it's heating up here, and like I said, the main clues that something goes down is that they're not trying to recruit tonight. They're doing nothing to recruit so far. And normally they really take advantage of the lull between shifts of protesters. Usually there's some protesters here, or Williams here, like in the late afternoon, and then there's a lull for a couple hours. A lot of times I like to come during the lull. And they take advantage of that to make it look like it's all normal, that they don't have anybody out protesting. So, it just looks like in the old days. And so when you have that lull and nobody's out even trying to do any body routing, that's a little suspicious. So, there's always new attempts. It's a little cat and mouse game. But the thing is, the odds are stacked against the cult, because if you're trying to pretend like you are the salvation of mankind, then this is not a good look. This is seriously not a good look for anybody who thinks they're saving mankind. And if you just look at that dude, you could tell, right? Because I don't know. There's something missing. There's a frantic, animal-like fear. One of the most feared guards in the Scientology universe. And you know, they try to be unreadable, but this guy definitely not looking too thrilled about life, I would say. Right? But he doesn't have that smirk that that girl inside had. She was looking like, what'd they say, like the cat that ate the canary or something. She had a smirk like, oh, I know what's gonna happen tonight, and you don't, you know, that kind of look. But then this guy doesn't really have that kind of look. This guy has a whole other serious thing going. But then again, you know, he's probably in charge of it, and a lot's riding on this. Whatever strategy they have, it definitely involves police, because they've had the police here twice. And that tells you something, right? They're gearing up for something. Normally what Scientology does is they say that they fear for their lives, their safety, that, you know, these are hate groups of anti-religious bigots, right? And the thing is, if you have followed people critical of Scientology like I have for the last 15 plus years, one thing you know is that the general vibe of people protesting is very light, playful, happy, right? People are nice, they're friendly. That doesn't mean there aren't a few crazies amongst them, right? But in general, one thing you could make is that it's like a hate group, because we're talking about a very, very diverse in terms of age, race, sexual orientation. All the markers of diversity are very prevalent in the protesters more than Scientology in general. Now this location, of course, shows more diversity than almost anywhere else in Scientology, because this is the biggest place for having outreach to the public. So they need to present something different than the general, like 99% Caucasian front that they normally have. So anyway, well, one new thing in terms of the protesters tonight is, you know, we got a few little posters or whatever you call them. And I wonder, is there a law in LA that you can't have them on a stick? Because I never see that. It's like people hold, they hold it, but they don't have sticks. So I'm assuming there must be a law around that. So, you know, things are slowly simmering, and I'm sure there will be another, damn man, my fingers, sorry about my finger there getting in the way. I'm sure there will be new developments coming soon, but
I'm gonna go get something to eat. All right.
Anyway, take a break for now. Stay tuned to my channel or others to see what happens next.